you guys, it's me, Dr. Torie. My book is officially out. And yes, it is time to talk about ACEs. You guys can find the books everywhere. However, I would encourage you guys to go to my website, Be VicTORIEus.com, and place your order today. Yes, it's time to talk about ACEs. Let's go, y'all. Hello, 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 you guys. OMG. Welcome back to another episode of Be Victorious. We are in episode 99. I am blessed. We serve an awesome God. And when I tell you the guest that I have is nothing but, when I tell you this young lady has been knowing me my entire life, I mean it on everything. I love. But when I think about the definition of a cycle breaker, she fits the description. I think what I love is to see how much that she's grown in life, not just as a kid, but as an adult. And to know her professionally and personally, it's the reason why she is here. You guys, she is an author. And when I mean an author, I mean an author. I'm so excited to have her here because this book is talking about a young man named Tony. And when I talk about Tony, we are talking about what he experienced, which means we are talking about adverse childhood experiences. It's an honor to have her here. Linette, where are you?
I'm here.
You know what's weird? I'm just gonna cut to the chase. I've never met Linette in my life. And so in my wonderful years, it's a pleasure to have you here, not just as one of my favorites, but as a fellow author. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
How
you.
are
I'm glad to
you?
be here.
Yeah, yeah.
Very glad to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. Now, listen, I will tell you somebody that was like, I don't believe it. I'm telling you. Look
There
at
it is. Man,
very,
I'm over the moon about it too, because
you should be.
I was so afraid to do it.
And what motivated you to talk about Tony?
Well, I have written it a long time ago.
Mhm.
And just in watching, I feel like my family they're great. They have lots of gifts, but I've consistently watched those gifts hit the glass wall. It's like you do the work and you do the work and you do the planning and you come out with something and then it never gets anywhere. And so I was encouraged by my girls to go ahead and try it. And, so I had to take the steps to do it, which means financial, which means, all the things. It's like get it edited, do whatever had to be done, find a publisher. I'm not a very trusting person a lot of times. So had to find someone that I could trust, illustrator, all the things. And so, and my kids, they don't help me the way I want to be helped. And I'm just saying that because it's like, if you're doing it, get it done. Don't lean on us to do it because you got to do the work. And I am so happy that they made me do the work. Now, I'm not saying they didn't help at all because they definitely did.
Right.
But for those things that I think they felt like I needed to push through and do it on my own, I had to push through. And I'm very thankful about that. But yeah.
That's because you raised what we call cycle breakers.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that cycle breaking thing, again, came from my father wrote a song in the 50s. As a matter of fact, that song they called it doo-wop. He wrote the words to it. He was, I think, in his 20s, and the guys were in their teens. They were called chandeliers. It got written, and I don't know that he ever really got credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have all the papers, my brother has them or whatever. But as far as you can find the record today, but his name was misspelled on it. He wasn't mentioned in it, but just a few times, I guess. But in that, all I'm saying is that he did all these things. He had all these great ideas, but they hit that wall. And then, of course, mom, being a nurse and everything, she did a lot. But what she wanted to be was a doctor. And it would have been nice for her to be able to do that. But when you come from, I guess, your parents can't see you in that position. And with my grandmother, they were raised in the country or whatever. I don't know that you really believe that little Black people
Mm.
can do these things, can be doctors. I'm talking that generation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, with my generation, then we felt they were, when they got older, they were teaching. Well, you can be a teacher, you can be this, you can be that, you know. And then I felt like I should teach my kids that they can do anything they want to do. And I feel like still that they can, because I feel like they have a lot of things in them right now
Mm-hmm.
that they can and are doing.
Mm-hmm.
They have great gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where all that came from. It's like push through and get it done
Mm-hmm.
by all means necessary. Because I wanted to sit down on it and not do it. And then I kept thinking, you know what? I have to believe in myself. I have to not be fearful
Right.
of it. I have to not really care about what people said or thought about it. I had to quit shrinking who I am because of what somebody might say, and stop minimizing my gifts to make other
Yep.
people feel comfortable. And I had been doing that for years.
Very good.
No more.
Because you are a cycle breaker.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And so are you, ma'am.
That's
You
why
know?
we're
Yeah.
here. You're so inspiring. This just adds to the coffee for me. You know what I mean? Because you've always been positive energy for me. Very inspiring. The commonality, you guys, she has three wonderful daughters that I grew up with
Yes.
that I know. We are very close, so I'm going to shout them out. I'm not going to say their names because they don't know that we're doing this. Surprise, surprise, unless you told them, because I have been holding it in
I
like
did tell one.
bro.
I just told one
Okay,
because she
that's fine.
just called me.
Okay, that's fine.
No, Keisha knows too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I've been trying to hide this. You guys, these are my best
I'm
friends.
sorry, didn't know it was a
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah. I wanted to hide it because I think it's so cool. You know what I mean? Especially somebody from us, like my
Yeah.
parents' generation, who is really, struggling with understanding ACEs. And then our generation who was like, yay, Torie, you're doing it. We're breaking generational cycles. We're doing this. You are a great example. You have three girls, so do I. Your story resonates with me because I have a college student too. You know what I mean? So
Oh
finally,
yeah.
that commonality. Your
Mm-hmm.
girls are amazing. I mean, I tell the story about Mizzou all the time, and the reason why I wanted to go to Mizzou because your daughter went to Mizzou. Rochelle was there first. We was there with Roro first. We was at Mizzou every other day with Roro. So let's
Yeah.
be clear. She was a great mentor. She was a great example to this day. She's still one of my favorite people in the world. So it's the commonality that we have. It's the fact that we really did grow up with each other, but it's the word cycle breaker.
Yeah.
We're doing it. So what's your definition?
Of a cycle breaker, somebody that pushes through adversary, you know, and above, I guess, what we felt was normal
Mhm.
wasn't normal.
Right.
Okay. Um, just getting on top of things and not being afraid, just kind of what I just expressed.
Hmm.
It's like not being afraid because parents have opinions,
Hmm.
neighborhood community people have opinions, culturally there are opinions of what peg we fit in, what hole we fit into the peg
Yeah.
board. Um, and I feel like, for the rest of my days, I want to try to break cycles. It feels like there was a loop.
Hmm.
It's like being in this loop, like a song, just looping, and finally getting out of the loop, just break through the loop. I
Yeah.
had to get out of there. I didn't want to just continue the same behavior and the same cycle over and over again. Get the generations corrected if we can. And I think we can.
And you
So
need.
this generation can be better than mine. The next
Mhm.
one will even be better. And doesn't have to be, we don't have to be stagnant like we have been.
Hmm. And I agree. I think for me, and I'll share, I have been considering bringing Ro or Keisha or Jeanette for that matter because they've all breaking generational cycles. But to have the ultimate, like, let's be clear, I could share the fact that you're a grandmother, you know what I mean? Your granddaughter just graduated,
Mm-hmm.
and she graduated from the college where her parents met.
Yeah.
And her parents, it's 2025.
Yeah.
That's really not a normal story.
No. And they're cycle breakers.
Yep.
And the whole ACEs thing, I'll have to say,
Let's talk about it.
um, until you had your book and start talking about it, it didn't have a name for me of what that was because it was normalized. This is the way life is.
Mm-hmm.
You whip your children, you
Mm-hmm.
fuss and you cuss and you do all the things. That was normalized.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ACEs, what do you mean ACEs? And then you have to sit down with that and go back into your life
Mm-hmm.
and recognize all those things in all those places
Mm-hmm.
and that it wasn't normal
Right.
because I'm telling you, we did normalize it.
We did.
So it was just another day, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it was just another day, whatever it was that was going on, whatever it was that happened, it's okay, it's normal, wasn't a big deal, but it actually was because it did create issues mentally sometimes, emotionally a lot of times, but you don't stop to look back to identify that because it's just another day in how the culture is and how the family is. It was normalized.
Bad. And I think for me as a parent, when I realized it, I noticed my daughter, and I always tell the story about Kennedy talking about her being in this red dress, and I whooped her because she talked about it and she mentioned it like 15 times. And I was like, did that bother you? And she was like, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out why I got whooped to this day. And I'm like, I'll never do it again. So now I get,
Yeah.
as the ACEs expert, the calls. So you don't whoop your kids? Why are we doing it? What's the reason?
Well, you know where it came from.
And you know what I mean? So it's like this discussion about adverse childhood experiences has been a huge discussion
Yeah.
especially ever since this book. So I'm really grateful, that I was able to put it in a place where we can talk about it, and we're talking about it. I'm
Yeah.
grateful because just to even identify that, I didn't have a reason. I just thought it was what we were supposed to do. Your kids don't do right, give them a whooping. But the reality of the situation is the emotional
It
abuse
is. Yeah.
that in.
I've spent a lot of time apologizing
Mm,
for those things.
mm,
And I wish my grandkids now say they're not going to whoop their kids. And I think, good. We did it because our parents did it. Our parents did it because their parents did it. But I wish I never had. But
mhm,
it's too late to go back and change that. So now you have to move forward.
Mhm.
And there is an expectation that I have that at some point, though I apologize, girl, I've written letters. I mean, I've given, I've tried to, make it better, but you really can't make it all better because at some point, the whooping that I gave is going to come up. The anger that I had is going to come up. And how defensive I was is going to come up.
Yep.
And so I have to work through that even today, even in these days and times, because it's who I was at that time.
Mhm.
It's what was done at that time. It affected those three angels of mine.
Mhm.
And I know it did. And that's why the stories continue that something that I might say or somebody else might say will bring it up in them. And I had to learn to let them have their moment. Don't try to over explain it. Don't even say, well, I've apologized for all that because it affected them. It really did. And so I feel like all three of them have done differently than what I did in
And
their own way. Now, I don't know how that translates to any aces that their kids might have or whatever,
right.
but I feel like that they have done differently and given their kids good lives.
Hmm.
And I felt like I gave mine good lives, but man, if I had known
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
what I know now,
Right.
because they've had to go through the whole divorce thing. They've gone through the fussing and the cussing and the fighting and because I was, yeah, one of them people. Was very defensive because I saw the fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw the fussing and the anger. And so I set up a defense mechanism within myself. I'm not going to let nobody do me like that.
Hmm.
And so that's how I live, which, like I say, can't take it back now. But that's how things were.
And maybe that was what they need. Well, again, you have cycle breakers. So all three of them, and I can attest and witness based off of our ACEs and what we learned about ACEs. Y'all have made me, thanks for making me the doctor that I am. This is really what it is. I can say that because not only did was raised with them, this is our generation. I grew up with a generation full of cycle breakers, and I'm humbled. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Michelle has always been a mentor to me. You know what I mean? Always been 18 row row. That's just what that is. But I think that lived experiences for her and my older brother too was
Mhm.
enough for them to make different decisions in life. And that's what, maybe they were decisions of you all's, but however, those decisions have led for them to make different decisions.
Oh,
And
oh, wow.
yes.
And they are amazing.
Mhm.
I look at them and think, oh my God, the way they interact with their kids. And Auntie Roro, you say, Rochelle,
Uh-huh.
and she's got the young one,
Yep.
and the way she speaks to her, the patience that she has, Keisha, the opportunity that she's giving hers and is giving hers,
Mhm.
and the counseling that she provides to them, the way she allows them to be themselves and create. And Jeanette, she's on the rougher side, but when I say she's ride or die with hers,
Yes. Always have been though.
yeah,
And that's what makes them cycle breakers. That's why this is important. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
when you think about being a part of a movement helping shape a healing journey, I grew up with cycle breakers. Like
yeah.
we grew our cousin crew, we tight and have been that way. But I do believe it's because our parents went through household dysfunction under ACEs. our families went through was divorcing at the same time. We kind of got close because I'm not even gonna say kind of got close. I think that's what grew us closer because
Yeah.
we leaned on each other and we had each other, when it was, times got rough, it was like, man, this what happened in my household.
Yeah.
Household. But
Yeah.
it, a strength of that is that we still had that community. We still had the uncles, we still had the aunties, we still had the, cousins that we could reach out to, and I think that's what it is for us. So when you talking about healing a journey or helping a purpose, that's what we did for each other. We graduated, we went to college, we did what we had to.
Yeah. Y'all did. Yeah, and I'm thankful for it. I mean, and y'all and keeping everybody close because even though the divorce happened,
Mhm.
I had to still be the best I could be.
Yep.
And sometimes that meant, I mean, the house was always full, everybody was there and I was feeding everybody and wondering sometimes, do your parents know where you are?
I was there every day.
Because it would be days. It wouldn't be just overnight. It'd be like days.
I was one of
And yeah, and I didn't mind it because I don't know, because it helped them and it also helped me.
Yep. Yep. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's why it's so important to have the conversation and have the discussion about ACEs awareness in regards to education because we taught each other. We wanted better for each other. Not to say that you all's way weren't the best way. We just wanted something different. We wanted to try college. We wanted to see what it was like. I
Yeah.
was telling Kamari, who, my first kid, college, my first semester. Now, first off, let's be clear. I didn't get to go to Mizzou like them. My GPA wasn't like theirs. So that's the reason why I didn't go. I was there every other weekend because my people were still there, okay?
Hanging out.
Yeah. So of course I'm at Mizzou every day. But
Yeah.
like I told Kamari, you broke our generational cycle. Yeah, y'all broke our generational cycle when y'all started getting good grades. And when she graduated, or for her first semester, for her getting a 3.4, I was like, you broke our cycle, honey, because my first semester I was on probation. Congratulations. And she was like, really? I'm like, I
Yeah.
told you the story. That's not like brand new. I did not want to come home. That's the reason why I got myself together. If it wasn't the academic probation is what woke me up and got me
Yeah.
together. But
And it's
look at
really funny. This is what's weird is that Mama did want us. Well, let me back up. In the 70s, I know Mama's family. There's a lot of deans, and they were educated family. One of my great aunts um, was big on education, but I think they got kind of set in this mold and belief for the boys. I feel like they pushed them more to college.
Hmm.
And for the girls, now this is me. It seemed like to me, it was get a job, get married, have some babies, that whole thing. But it wasn't that my mother didn't, she did believe in going to college, you know, wanting us to go to college, but she went late.
Shit.
I went late.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, that's just how it was. But
Yeah.
I did want them to go to
Yeah.
college or do something, get
Mm-hmm.
some training. It wasn't that it had to be a university, but at least some training that would help you in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You give great advice. You have
Yeah,
girls gratefully that listened. Like I said, you have to think about what we normalized and know that it actually really could have been different.
it could have been.
And
Could
so
have been.
that's the goodness of the fact that you led by examples. Yes, you can apologize 50 or 60 times about what happened, but the reality is they actually listened, felt
Yeah.
followed through, and you can't punish yourself for the decisions you made in your past because
No.
those decisions, the end result, you got a granddaughter that graduated. I think it's a huge deal. And I
And
say
some in
huge
tow.
deals all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful. and then, getting the book written and out, and I intend to get the others written, or well, I have several written, but getting them published.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to me, that was something to say to not just my kids, but theirs,
Mm-hmm.
is that if I can do it at Gary B 70, you guys can do anything you want to do.
Exactly. And you doing that, the motivation behind it, the push, what is that saying? Like, oh, my grandma, that you know what I mean? That's a brag. It's 2025. My grandma's an author. Like, that's a real huge brag. But for me, it's the fact that you're talking about aces. Like, Tony, we
I know I didn't even really see it like that at first.
Yes. You got to think about it.
Yeah.
So just to give you a little bit, I know Tony. Tony was in my classroom. I'm a special education teacher.
Hmm.
And so you got to think about it. The sped kids get bullied all the time. So I looked at it different because, of course, I'm an educator, number one. Number two, the bullying. Bullying is officially recognized as an adverse childhood experience since June of 2023. That's when I stepped out on faith
Oh,
because
wow.
this systemic racism that I have encountered,
Hmm.
like we could brag all day about me being the first in the family to have a doctorate degree, but do you know how much I've been discriminated against since? And it's 2025. I'm like, I don't need to go through this. But when you think about it, I mean, Ruby Bridges is 70 years old. She's still alive.
Yeah, she is.
When you think about education, you think about books and you think about all of that. Yeah, don't try to rewrite history. She wanted to be integrated in a school. She wanted a better education. So she went to a white school. That's
Hmm.
history.
So my next book, I guess, is Aces as well.
And but that's the thing. We normalize what honestly is what we need to be discussing in our community.
Truth.
Because really, for Tony to have to go through what he went through, all because he was born this way, we do this and we normalize this in our community. And it's not okay. It's not.
No, nope,
So of course I'll
it
look
is
at
not.
it different because it's relatable, not just to me as somebody that talks about ACEs, but as a special educator.
Hmm.
This is the reason why when I was in my position, I integrated the students as when I was director of student activities, the students didn't know I was a special education teacher at all. They didn't. The kids that were in my class were the gifted and talented kids because there was a space for them to go. They saw a few kids in my class, and they was like, "Oh yeah, let me go in there." They didn't know special education. They just said, "Let me go in there and check see what she doing." But I didn't want the students to feel different, so that's
Hmm.
why I started integrating and putting everybody into extracurricular programs. You did the same thing when you put Tony on a pedestal and showed him that his disability, because it's really a disability,
It is.
and made it common for the people in the class. And then that's when they
Yes.
accepted him. Oh, baby, I read Tony. Okay. I know who Tony is. But this is a book that they need to talk about in classrooms. But this is also a great example of adverse childhood experiences. Absolutely. Because bullying, it needs to be, no, I mean, bullying starts in the household.
It does. It does.
And I would just leave it at that. So just imagine whoever started to get Tony and started making fun of Tony, that was probably somebody's kid who was bullied by their big brother, their dad, their nephew, their uncle, their cousin, or somebody like that.
Yes.
Yep. So that's what we're doing. You're leaving legacies by writing this book.
That's my hope.
Uh-huh, you are. So knowing now that the book is about ACEs, I heard you say something about doing more. You have more books in
I
store.
have one that's written, and it is Aces as well.
Very good.
Actually, two. They're both Aces.
Interesting. I love it. Because how else are we going to get this information out here? And only if, and I will share with you, I do talk to a few authors and let them know. I have authors that share their stories, and then once they're sharing their stories, I'm like, you're talking about ACEs, right? Really? And it's like, yeah, because we don't know what it is. And I'm okay with it. It's a medical term. Like I said, it wasn't supposed to reach us. Because if
Mm.
that's the case, it would have reached us in 1998 when the study was out. It's the second largest study in the United States to date.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that it's reached
Oh,
everybody now.
I'm
Because,
glad
like I
too.
said, I didn't know what it was until.
Mhm,
And when I got the definition of it and saw, the categories,
mhm,
oh, so that's what was, you know, and it, is exactly what it was.
mhm. So I don't have to share you took the ACEs quiz and you have an ACEs score because 1 in 3, I have an ACEs score.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why now I was talking to someone today and they were like, I'm gonna quit saying it's an ACEs quiz. It's a study. It's a study. It was a
Okay. I'm a percentage.
hmm You are
Okay.
a percentage. I am a percentage. I had a young lady call today, um, and she's ready to do some more research. And they know
That's
now
a good.
in regards to that type of thing. She's a therapist. She's a counselor, and she wants
Okay.
to do it from a perspective where she talks about ACEs and include that in her practice. And I'm here for it because as a clinical licensed therapist, she could do that.
Oh, yeah.
Honored. So you have to understand how valuable this book is. It should be everywhere.
It should be.
It will be.
It will be.
So
Yes.
I have a question. What
Yes.
would you say for somebody? Because again, you told your story, and I love the fact that you saying, regardless of age, don't give up on your dreams.
Hmm.
You tell someone that is going through their journey and they want to take next steps.
Just do it. Cross the line. Just do it.
Mhm,
You know, we always talking about bossing up
mhm,
and all the things riding. Ride.
mhm,
We only have one life. Do something with it. And that's what I plan to do for the rest of mine.
mhm.
Yeah.
My new best friend, if you all didn't know, I'm not for sure if I shared it on one of my podcast episodes, but I always share. People always ask what was my major in college. It was nursing, and it was nursing because the person that helped me with my application told me to put
Hmm.
nursing down. Then I put nursing down, and I don't want to be a nurse at all. Didn't. I just thought it was great to put it down because that's how much I loved Miss Davis. I did. I
Yeah.
never hide my love. Y'all know I love Miss Davis. But yeah, true story. I didn't do anything. But as a mentor, I encourage people to not put down what they think. Just put down undecided. Because if you put down undecided, you'll be fine. I'm not doing nothing in regards to nursing, but that was what I declared as my major going to college. Sad. But nonetheless, here I am. So you have grandchildren that are in college, you are doing your thing, you are living your life. For anyone that is wanting to take this journey and learn more, because remember, ACEs is new to our community.
Yeah.
What would be a first step?
Want to know more about ACEs?
Mhm,
Or, well, uh, listening to some of these podcasts, because again, I know what it was with that. I didn't know it had a name. We'll put it
right.
like that. I didn't know it had a name. So if we could get the name out there,
Mhm,
then that's a first step.
mhm,
Knowing what the name was made me stop and look back on my life.
mhm,
And then reading some of the book, I thought, well, what we thought was normal, this is not normal. They have a name for this, and it's not normal. When I know to a degree we knew it wasn't normal, but we normalized it.
right.
The healing can't start. I think the healing started more knowing that it had a name, knowing that there are several people that have experienced this over the years, knowing in me taking care of mom
Mm-hmm.
and learning some of the things that she endured and went through when she was a child, then thinking to myself, oh my God, I wonder what my grandmother went through and what her mother went through. This is generational. So it's kind of opened my eyes and my heart to having empathy for people because we don't know what they've been through
Mm-hmm.
in their life, that has been brought over from generations.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we have Tony. And I
Yes.
thank you for bringing Tony to life. I thank you for being here. I thank you for sharing your story. If someone wanted to find out where to find Tony or where to purchase Tony, where can they go?
They can go to LinetteDavisWrites.com, or it is also on BarnesandNoble.com as well as Amazon.com.
She's an author, y'all. I so happen to know this author. She's an amazing person. I love her so much, and I am happy to have you here. Episode 99. Do you know how big this is for me? When I first started, I just did not know I could do this. And so, how you feel about Tony is how I feel about this podcast because to go from episode 1 to be at episode 99 with somebody that I love, not to say that I haven't got to know my podcast guests and I don't love them because Kamari's on here twice, but to have you here. I didn't share with anyone, but I'll share with the world publicly. Ms. Davis was my grandmother. She was everybody's grandma. She was the neighborhood grandma. She was a community grandma.
It was. Yeah.
And I called you and told you, hey, I was my best friend. I don't have anybody to confide in. Could you take on that role? And I thank you so much for being my confidant since the person that I've been able to reach out to share, to have the conversation, to just talk about random stuff because we used to talk about everything. And I just thank you so much for being that person just for me right
You are
now,
welcome.
recently, just in my life period. You've been in my life all of my life. And so thank you so much for being there for me, being there for my family, and representing Tony. So I thank you so much. And you guys, episode 99 is done. Thank you again for another episode of Be Victorious. And we'll talk to you soon. Y'all know where to find me. Find me everywhere. When I mean everywhere, everywhere except for X. I don't do, Elon Musk no more. Sorry, I just don't. We'll talk to you
Yeah.
guys soon, you guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. Bye bye,
All
you
right.
guys.
Bye.